Good morning all. Today, let we see some terms related to normal distribution. So, let we see what is MGF, that is moment generating function. Means it is a function which generates moments. It is a function which generates moment, and hence the name is MGF. So, by definition, what is MGF? You know what is MGF, isn't it? So, the definition of MGF for continuous random variable, it is mxt is equal to expectation of e raised to tx, that is equal to integration over the range of x e raised to tx f of x dx. Fine. So since we are finding MGF of normal distribution, we can replace the range of normal distribution as well as fx of normal distribution. So what is range of normal distribution? It is minus infinity to infinity, then e raised to tx as it is. Now we replace the fx. So what is fx for normal distribution? It is 1 divided by root 2 pi sigma e raised to power minus half. What we have? We have x minus mu upon sigma bracket square dx. Okay, fine. So over here 1 divided by root 2 pi sigma is constant. It is come out from the integration sign, and then we write this as 1 divided by root 2 pi sigma. Then what I have? It is minus infinity to infinity. Then see the terms e raised to tx as it is, then e raised to power minus half x minus mu upon sigma bracket square dx as it is. Okay, now let me put x minus mu upon sigma is equal to z. So what we get? X is equal to, what we get? X is equal to, we get x as mu plus sigma z. Okay, so what about dx now? Dx is equal to sigma dz. And what about range? Since the range of x is, what is the range of x? It is minus infinity to infinity. So what is the range of z now? Over here, the range of z is again same, that is minus infinity to infinity. Okay, so over here, so in the next step, we can put the value of x as mu plus sigma z. Okay, and value of this x minus mu upon sigma as simply z. Okay, so let me have the next page. So mxt over here is mxt is equal to constant portion as it is. So 1 divided by root 2 pi sigma. Then since integration, the range is as it is, we have the range in the same manner. So what I have e raised to tx. So what is the value of x? So if you see the page, e raised to tx. So what is the value of x over here? It is mu plus sigma z. So simply I can put the value t into bracket mu plus sigma z into e raised to power minus half, what I have? X minus mu upon sigma bracket square. So instead of that, I have z square, isn't it? If you observe this value, so it is e raised to minus half z square. And what about dx? The value of dx is sigma dz. Okay, so let me have the value as sigma dz over here. Fine. Okay, now so to simplify the terms, we can have the terms in this manner. See, so it is 1 divided by root 2 pi sigma. What I have? It is minus infinity to infinity e raised to t mu into e raised to t sigma z into e raised to minus half z square. And over here, if you observe, this sigma and this sigma get cancel. So let me cancel this sigma from this. Okay, so now what I have only the term as dz. Fine. Okay, now observe all the terms in integral sign. Then there is one term which is free from z, and that is this e raised to t mu. It doesn't contains any z, so it come out from the integration sign. So e raised to t mu divided by root 2 pi as it is. Then what I have? Minus infinity to infinity. Now e raised to I need to take the common portion out of these two terms, this and this term, as say minus half. So if I have common as minus half, then what I have z square, since I can take minus as common from this also. So I have minus 2 times t sigma z dz. See, simplification purpose, we can make the bracketed term as a square term. So this bracketed term as a square term. So to make this bracketed term as square term, we need to add one term and subtract that term. So what is that term? Can anyone tell me what is that term? So that term is z square minus 2t sigma z plus what I have? I have, see, since over here z is already present, 2 is already present. So I need to take t square sigma square minus one more term which I need to subtract is t square sigma square into, sorry, over here I have not dx, it is dz. Okay. So I can add t square sigma square as well as subtract t square sigma square. So if you observe all these terms, so all these terms, so it make a square. So square of which term? Square of which term? See, e raised to minus half, what I have? Square of z minus t sigma bracket square. Okay. And one more term is left with me, which is this. And I can multiply by this term also because minus half is common to all the terms. So what I get, it is plus half t square sigma square and dz. Okay. But if you observe this term, it is free from x. So it free from z. Hence it come out from the integration sign. And we can write this term as e raised to t mu plus half t square sigma square upon root 2 pi. What I have? I have minus infinity to infinity. Then e raised to power minus half z minus t sigma bracket square dz. Okay. Now in next step, we can put this z minus t sigma as say u. So let me have z minus t sigma. Let me put this as not mu, it is u. Or you may have any letter of your interest also. So you put this. So if I put this, then what is dz? Dz is equal to du. And what about range? The range of z is minus infinity to infinity. If I put minus infinity over here, the value of u is again minus infinity only. Okay. And if I put infinity over here, I get the range as infinity only. Fine. So now mxt is equal to what I get? Mxt is equal to, see, in my previous page, I have mxt. So this term, which is outside the integration sign, is as it is. So let me write this term outside the integration sign as it is. So it is e raised to t mu plus half t square sigma square divided by root 2 pi. Again, integration, the range is the same as it is. Then what about the bracketed term? So bracketed term is e raised to minus half. Over here, we can put this value as u. Hence, it is e raised to minus half u square. Instead of dz, what I have? Instead of dz, I have du. So over here, it is e raised to minus half u square du. Now, if you observe this term and include this also. So what it is? So phi of z, the definition of standard normal distribution, it is 1 divided by root 2 pi e raised to minus half z square for the range of z minus infinity to infinity. So it is it integration of minus infinity to infinity phi z dz, isn't it? So only the difference is instead of z, I have u over here, but it is a PDF of standard normal distribution. And since it is over the integration is over whole range minus infinity to infinity, the value of this is 1. Okay. So what is mxt now? Mxt, that is mgf of normal distribution over here. It is e raised to t mu plus half t square sigma square. Fine. So that is the MGF of normal distribution. Fine. Now the next point which we have is the CGF of normal distribution. So what is the CGF? You know the CGF, no? What is CGF? It is cumulant generating function. So let me write over here. Cumulant generating function. Fine. So a function which generates cumulants. Okay. So by definition, what is the definition of CGF? Sorry. By definition, what is definition of CGF? So we can have the definition of CGF as kxt is equal to log to the base e mxt. We can simply put the value of mxt and we can take the log. So log to the base e. What is MGF over here? MGF of normal distribution, it is this, isn't it? That is e raised to t mu plus half t square sigma square. So we can replace the value as e raised to t mu plus half t square sigma square. Fine. So that means the answer is t mu plus half, what is the value? T mu plus half t square sigma square. So that is the CGF of normal distribution. Okay. So kxt, which is CGF of normal distribution. Fine. Okay. Now, by using this CGF, since the name is cumulant generating function, we can generate the cumulants as follows. So what is the formula for finding the cumulants? You know the formula, no? So the formula is Kr is equal to coefficient of t raised to r divided by r factorial in the expansion of kxt. Okay. So actually there is no any expansion of this term. So I can directly use this term for finding the cumulants. So let me put the values of r in the succession as 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what is K1? K1 is nothing but coefficient of, let me put r as 1 over here. So what I get? Coefficient of t divided by 1 factorial, isn't it? So coefficient of t divided by 1 factorial in the expansion of kxt. So that means coefficient of t. So what is coefficient of t over here? If you observe this function, the coefficient of t is mu. Okay. So K1 is mu. So let me write remaining values over here only. So K1 is equal to mu. So what about K2 now? K2 is coefficient of what? I can put r as 2. So t square divided by 2 factorial. So what is t square divided by 2 factorial? That means t square divided by 2. Since 2 factorial is 2, isn't it? So t square divided by 2. So if you observe this term, so t square divided by 2. What is the coefficient of t square divided by 2? It is sigma square simply. So my K2 is a sigma square. What about K3? K3 is coefficient of t cube divided by 3 factorial in the expansion of kxt. But is there any term named as t cube? No. So K3 is 0 over here. Again, the value of K4, which is coefficient of t raised to 4 divided by 4 factorial. So t raised to 4 divided by 4 factorial, there is no any term with t raised t power of t as 4. Okay. So K4 is again 0. That means we get this as the value of Kr are all 0 if R is greater than or equal to 3. Okay. So value of Kr, that is value of cumulants, are 0 if R is greater than or equal to 3 for normal distribution. Fine. By using these cumulants, we can also find the moments. So moments using cumulants. So let me have these points also. Moments using cumulants. Okay. So the first moment, that is mu1 dash, what we get. So mu1 dash is k1. So over here, k1 is mu. And we know that, what you know, mu1 dash is also mean. Okay. So mean over here is mu. Fine. Now k2 is equal to mu2. We get mu2 as k2. Fine. And what about the value of k2? K2 is sigma square. And also we know that, what you know that mu2 is nothing but variance of x, isn't it? So variance of x is sigma square over here. Fine. Okay. Now what about mu3? Mu3 is equal to k3. But I know that the value of k3 is 0. Okay. Then let me have the values of mu4 also. So the value of mu4. Now, the value of mu4 is not k4. It is k4 plus 3k2 square. So let me put the values. What is mu k4? So in the previous page, I have the k4. So k4 is 0. And what is k2? It is a sigma square. Okay. So k4, let me put k4 as 0 plus 3 sigma square. So I have sigma square of square. Since it is k2 square, no? So it is 3 sigma raised to 4, which is my mu 4. Okay. So these are my moments using cumulants. Now, by using these moments, I can find the measure of skewness and kurtosis also. So measure of skewness, that is nothing but beta 1. So what is the formula for beta 1? You know the formula, no? So it is mu 3 square divided by mu 2 cube, isn't it? So what is mu 3 square? Mu 3 square means 0. 0 divided by anything, mu 2 cube. So it is a 0 only, no? So beta 1 is 0. And what about gamma 1? Gamma 1 is a square root of beta 1. So square root of 0, that means it is again 0. And so that means the result which we get from these values is beta 1 is 0, which implies the value of gamma 1 is also 0. And if these two values are 0, then what about the skewness of this distribution? What about the skewness? It is positively skewed, negatively skewed, or symmetric. Then since we get this as 0, the distribution is symmetric. Okay. So my normal distribution is symmetric, as well as for kurtosis we have beta 2 and gamma 2. So formula for beta 2 is mu 4 upon mu 2 square. So let me put the value. So mu 4 is 3 sigma raised to 4. So 3 sigma raised to 4. And what about mu 2? Mu 2 is a sigma square. I need to do mu 2 square. So it is sigma raised to 4. So over here beta 2 is 3. And what about gamma 2? Gamma 2 is beta 2 minus 3. So it is 3 minus 3. That means it is 0. So what is the result over here? We can have the result as if beta 2 is equal to 3. Over here we get beta 2 as 3. Okay. So if beta 2 is equal to 3, that means, which implies our gamma 2 is equal to 0. And if this happens, then our distribution is mesopuritic. Fine. So in this lecture, we have seen two terms of normal distribution, that is MGF and MGF, which is MXT. We can get this value as e raised to t mu plus half t square sigma square. Okay. Then CGF. What is CGF? CGF is KXT, and for this we get t mu plus half t square and sigma square. By using C, you are finding the values of cumulants, and by using cumulants, we are finding the values of moments. And after having the values of moments, we are finding the skewness and kurtosis. So by using the skewness, you are saying that the distribution, normal distribution is symmetric over here, and by using the kurtosis, the distribution is mesopuritic. Okay, fine. Thank you. Take care.